Everybody, let me tell you something. I got a man on my channel. I've been thinking about this interview. I couldn't sleep last night. My friends on Strong Inspirations, you know my name, Anthony Brogdon. I'm telling you, I could not sleep last night. Oh my God, I was thinking I was gonna even have to get a drink to get to sleep because man, the brother that's on this channel, he got a story and it's his story. He told me about it yesterday on the telephone. It blew my mind. I'm telling you, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna just go real fast with my introduction. As you see, I put on a shirt and tie in his honor. This man gave his life for us. He gave his life for us, and he gonna Strong Inspiration. This is what we do. I was so happy somebody referred me to him, and he's willing to come on the channel. Now hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notifications bell. Tell somebody about Strong Inspirations. I'm not going no further than that because I want to focus on him. Watch my movie. BusinessInTheBlack.net is the website. The name of the movie is Business in the Black. It's about the rise of Black business in America, what slaves did to get educated and go to college, Black millionaires in the 1800s. That's my movie. I'm going fast because I want to go on to him. Read my book, Black Business Book. It's over 200 facts that go with the movie, but it's more facts. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. I'm not going to say no more about my book and my movie because I want to go to the brother that I'm about to interview. But the movie and the book are out on Amazon, and you can get it on my website, businessintheblack.net. All right, that's all I got right there because I want to talk to my guest, and he got a sense of humor. So some part of this might be a little funny, but I'm going to tell you, my guests on my friends that are watching us. Let me tell you, as I had said, he put his life on the line because he knew that them racist folk was going to do some bad, and he wanted to save other Black people in lieu of his own health. And then he got gall. All right. So, sir, I've been thinking about that. That's all I can come up with. Sir, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is James S. Jackson. I reside here in the state of Florida in a city by the name of St. Augustine, which is the oldest established city in the United States.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. You're a good looking guy too. I know you had some girlfriends back in the day. I got to light this conversation up because oh man. So you live in St. Augustine. Where was your parents born?
My parents, my mother was born in Columbia, South Carolina. My father was born here in the state of Florida, a little fishing village north of here by the name of Fernandina.
Okay. How did you get to be the bad guy, and I mean bad in a good way, the superhero that you became? How did you get to be that way?
Well, you have to understand, growing up here in the deep South, I never had a Black instructor until I got to junior high school. I attended Catholic school, which was taught by Caucasian nuns. I didn't have my first Black instructor was when I attended our all-Black junior high school.
Okay.
After completing high school in the early 60s, during the time of the lunch counter sit-ins and the things of that nature, I've always been the type of Black individual. My mom said I was a little bit uppity, but if I had something to say, I wanted to go and say it and let it be known.
Okay.
I in turn got contacted by our local NAACP to become a member of our NAACP youth department. I in turn did that. The NAACP got me introduced into the civil rights movement. And the years after joining that, we had some other young people. Our young people were, they're looking for a progressive manner. They thought the NAACP was moving a little bit too slow. We in turn had a black dentist who took up practice here, attended Meharry Medical School, and he in turn set his practice up here. He in turn got in touch with Dr. King to have Dr. King to come into the St. Augustine area to see about establishing the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. With me being involved in the NAACP Youth Council, they decided that they wanted to go and get me involved in it to see if I would be interested in possibly becoming the vice president of the Youth Council.
Okay.
I said yes, I agreed to it because I was demonstrating at the time, picketing and things of that
Hold on,
nature.
let me stop you there. Now, because you went to a Catholic school, you got a little more special, a better education.
Oh, you go and find that the Catholic school, attending the Catholic school with all Caucasian nuns, and the priest that we had at our church, Caucasian. I attended integrated church where there was no other churches in the South during that time that were integrated.
I got you.
Me being an altar boy and attending Mass, there was nothing unusual for me to be seated to a Caucasian individual in church.
Okay. But again, you got a better education going to that school. Would you say you was a little smarter maybe or something like that?
Oh, yes. We got that background, that total background there, attending that school.
Okay.
And I appreciate that education I got.
I got you.
Because those nuns, I kid you not, we had some of them when they said sit, you said where. And when they said jump, you said how high.
I got you.
And that was it.
I got you. So was you gonna go to college after high school?
Yes, I attended a local college here, Florida Memorial, Florida Number. They in turn moved. They closed and moved to the area of Miami.
I got you.
But I did attend Florida Number.
I got you. Now? So what time are we talking about? We talking in the 50s or the 60s?
Oh no, we talking about. I finished high school in 1963. We talk about 64, and 65.
Now you said something about they recognize you because you was a smart guy, you good looking, you might be tall, and you out there protesting. So were you the one talking on the mic and that kind of thing when the protests?
I was the one talking at meetings and things of that nature, trying to go and recruit other young blacks to join us. I was used as a recruiter.
Okay. And what made you want to do that?
What made me want to go and get involved was, with me attending Catholic school, being around Caucasians all of my life, I never saw any difference. So you would have to go and look at this city. This city is a unique city, I'm thinking. You would have, let's say, Bridge Street. Excuse me. Bridge Street on, let's say, the north side of Bridge Street, which is a two-way street. On the north side of Bridge Street, you would have Caucasian families. The south side of Bridge Street, they could look out their front door at each other, would be blacks. Or you would go out of your back door and your neighbor immediately behind you would be Caucasian.
Okay.
But when you got downtown, that separation, that barrier came in, whites on one side, blacks on the other.
So you knew your place as a black guy in the city. You knew where you had to live, where you had to stay, what you could do and couldn't do.
Oh yes, you knew your place, and to me, it was very unfair. And I'm the type of person like this. I'm going to ask you why, which there's no definite answer for why. We all realize that.
Yeah.
Because any question you have, I can come back with why, and you can't go and give me a definitive answer for it at any time.
But asking why, especially of a white person, ain't you scared to ask why?
That was just my nature. I did it with my parents, did it with my grandparents. I want to know why.
All right. Have you ever been called a nigger?
Oh, I've been called a nigger so many times until it's unheard of. There's sort of things that being called a nigger.
Like, for example,
I'm what you would call those. I'm somewhat of a field hand type nigger, or what else have you, but I'm not a house nigger.
What do you mean by that?
House nigger, you go and find that a house nigger is this type of person. The house nigger, you find the field workers, they knew their place, what else have you. And then you had the blacks that worked in the masses' house. They were better. They classed themselves. The masses hand-me-downs. They were given to them because they didn't want this black individual walking around the interior of that house anew. And that house nigger took this thing to go and make himself, to class himself. He classed himself saying that he was better than the other blacks. So that house nigger was one.
I got you. But even though you were a field guy, you were still smart. You knew some stuff.
Oh yes, I knew some things. I'm the type of person I want to go and keep that whip off of my back. Self-preservation, trying to preserve for myself.
Okay, when you was growing up you talking about in the 50s, they were still whooping black people?
In certain areas, we didn't have that much of a problem here in St. Augustine, per se, with race relations. With our race relations, like I said, this city is so unique in the way it is built.
Yeah.
And the occupation of it. Like I stated, your neighbor would be Caucasian.
Yeah.
And
okay,
you would be black.
So why, like, for example, why would somebody call you a nigger?
Well, I would go and say that they would, the ones that would really go and do that was the ones that they call themselves insulting you, to call you a nigger.
Did it hurt your feelings?
It didn't really hurt my feelings a lot of times. After being called that, I was going to look at the individual and think, it's their stupidity.
I like it.
that is their stupidity to go and say that I'm a no down, classless, not worth anything.
I got you. Did you ever have any white friends?
We had, you would call, white friends while you were in the neighborhood, but in the neighborhood, you had, like I say, with this place being so unique, you grew up, the kid behind you next door or across the street from you was Caucasian, you're black. Well, yes, you are. You guys, you intermingle with each other, but when you got downtown, that association ceased.
Okay. Did so? Were there clans? Were there the KKK? Was that in the city?
We didn't have any knowledge of the KKK locally until after the 60s, after we got to demonstrating here, and the KKK let it head, lifted its head here.
What was y'all demonstrating for?
We were demonstrating basically for equal rights. I wanted to be able, I could go downtown to McCrory's, Woolworths, or what else have you, and I could go and purchase any article in that store, but at that lunch fountain, I was denied the opportunity to go and get a cold drink or a bag of chips or anything like that to sit there to go and eat it. But my money was good enough to go and purchase anything else in that store except equality.
Were there black stores in your city, black-owned businesses that you could have got the same stuff from?
No, you are in this city here. No, we had no black-owned stores of that nature. You had the little mom and pop candy shops. We had pharmacy, the Iceberg.
Yeah.
It was a black-owned thing.
Yeah.
We had in this city one black medical doctor that I can remember.
Oh.
We had two dentists. We had, I'm trying to go and think how many nurses, and when I'm saying nurses, I'm talking about LPNs or RNs.
Yeah.
I can only think of maybe one or two RNs, and we had LPNs, we had them, but you had a whole bunch of nurses' aides in the hospital, but that was it, other than in the professional field here. It wasn't that broad.
So for you to have to get your groceries and stuff like that, you had to go to the white store.
Oh yes, you had to go. You'd have to go to A&P, Snyder, any larger grocery stores. The mom and pop stores, they had your little knickknacks and cold drinks and stuff, never to go and really do home shopping. There was nothing available to you. Black owned.
When you went into those white stores, was there separate stuff that you could only go in through a certain door or something like that? Or if a white guy came in the line ahead of you, you had to let him go first? Was there anything like that?
Well, it wasn't quite that bad. We had maybe one or two stores that was segregated to that degree, where you had a black entrance and a white entrance. And so that was the thing that intrigued me. I would think, now I'm walking in this colored entrance, and you enter that place, and this whole store is open to you. Why did I have to go and come in through a special door?
Yeah, I got you. So you've seen black only, white only signs.
They had on King Street this horse saw
Okay.
for the horses to get a drink.
Okay.
The drivers would be, driving the
I
horses,
got you. I got you.
and they would stop there for the horses to have a drink of water.
I got you.
On the opposite side of that horse fountain was a colored fountain for drinking water.
Oh my God. So now let me ask you this. So now you said you were doing some protesting. What how would you protest?
We would just have placards stating don't shop here, Jim Crowism, this store is segregated. That nature, the early 60s, picketing
Okay.
and things of that nature, trying to go and get that.
Now did the police ever kind of mess with you when you was protesting?
Oh, yeah. With me, it doesn't bother me, but you're going to think that here in this city, I've been arrested some 19 times, and it didn't bother me. My record is clear now, but it was a strange thing. The first time that I was arrested for trespassing because a guy, a Caucasian dude, proprietor, asked me to go and leave his store or to leave that fountain I was sitting in at, and I refused to do it.
Put you in jail. What happens when you get arrested?
Well, I'll tell you a strange thing about that. I can remember my first arrest, first time I was arrested, and it's somewhat hilarious to me. It was when I was with Dr. Haling, and we were in federal court in Jacksonville. We had a case up there, and with him being the head of the local Southern Christian Leadership Conference here, and me being the youth council leader, I attended federal court with him, and we left our kids downtown with protest signs, picketing stores, trying to tell people not to shop there because this store was segregated.
Right.
And Doc and I, we were coming back from Jacksonville from federal court, and we were coming up south on US 1, and I saw this automobile heading north, and I glimpsed all of these people, black people, in this patrol car.
Okay.
One car went by, and I looked. Another car went by, I looked, and I said to Dr. Haling, I said, Doc, I said, that looks like our people in the back of that car.
Yeah.
He said, no. He said, Jimmy, we haven't did anything other than picketing.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have anybody going to jail being arrested.
Right.
You can legally go and picket
Right.
and not be arrested.
Right.
Well, he and I, we came on in town, and sure enough, where our kids were supposed to be at the Elks Rest, we went there, going there. Doctor and I passed a group of kids, and a young lady came up to us and said, Doc, they've started arresting our people and taking them to jail.
Okay.
And Dr. Haling, in turn, I got out of the car. He said, Jimmy, where are you going? I said, if they're going to jail, I'm going to jail too.
Okay.
I said, I'm not going to be out here. He said, well, we've got to go and see about getting these people out of jail. We've got to go and establish bond and what else have you.
Yeah.
And true enough, our local sheriff and chief of police has started arresting our picketers and taking them to jail.
Now,
and this is the funny thing about it. I tell you, if you look in any situation, you can always find humor.
Yeah.
Our local bondsman here was Caucasian, and he anticipated making all of this money off of these bonds. We in turn, unbeknownst to him, we had earlier contacted a bonding agency in the Daytona Beach area, and it was headed by a guy by the name of Charles Cherry, which was black. We had our black bondsman. They first of all didn't want to go and accept his paperwork for it. We also had in place our own attorney from Jacksonville, a guy by the name of Earl Johnson. We had our own attorney in place. We had our own bondsman in place, and we made that about sure you don't benefit anything.
I got you. So now let me ask you this before we get to the story. Okay, what happens when you get arrested? You go to jail, then you have to pay. How much bond do you have to pay per person? And do you get the bond money back?
No, well, if you put up a cash bond, that is returned to you. But if you use a bonding agency, they would normally go and charge you, let's say, 10% of that bond.
I got you.
You have to go and that's what you put up.
Yeah,
you know that's non-refundable.
Okay, how much was it per person bond for something like protesting?
You go and find after they get tired of looking at you, Judge Agree get tired of looking at you, $250, $300, $800,
per person?
But you have to go and realize it sounds like a very insignificant amount today.
No, it don't.
But back during that time, $250, that was a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, no question. And you're talking about per person, right?
Yeah.
That's not a lot. So then things is not going well. The police are starting to act up and arrest the protesters. And the KKK get involved, right?
Yeah, the KKK got involved. We had a local group here to go and a guy. This is one of the unique things about the KKK. The head of our local Klan agency here was a guy by the name of Halstead Manusi, uneducated Caucasian, and what you would go and call, and they refer to as white trash.
I got you.
He was uneducated, moonshiner, anything illegal to do it. He was a local head of our Klan.
Did you know him before you knew that he was in the Klan?
No, I did not know Halstead before then.
How did you know he was in the Klan?
They didn't hide. They didn't hide their membership or anything of that nature. You had one guy that was with Halstead. One of his lieutenants was a guy by the name of Buddy Cooper. Mm-hmm. Buddy Cooper was a lieutenant in the Klan, but he was a surveyor, and every morning he had to come into the black neighborhood to go and get his helper or whatever, his assistant, which was black, and was black, and pick him up for them to go and work, to go and do their surveying.
Now, so what? Just tell us the story. You and four guys did what? Let's go to the story.
Oh, about the Klan rally.
Yeah.
That was about the
let me stop you right there. Everybody, my viewers, Don't say nothing for the next few minutes. Don't say nothing for the next few minutes. You'll see what I'm saying. Take this with all sincerity of what this man is about to tell us. Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
All right. Dr. Haley, myself, a local barber by the name of Clyde Jenkins, and another resident by the name of James Howes. We had our kids out on the street picketing. The Klan, in turn, were handing out flyers about this Ku Klux Klan rally that night. We didn't know if we were going to put our kids back on the street the next day or not, fearing for their safety. These people were holding this Klan rally. He knew of an area behind it that he used to fish.
Okay, go ahead. You gotta go back. You knew that they were gonna have a Klan rally. You were going
Correct.
And if you were gonna put your kids out, and then what happened?
And we, in turn, the four of us, this guy said he knew of a way that we could get behind that rally because they had loudspeakers, PA systems, and stuff of that nature. And we were going to, the four of us, we were going to go behind that meeting back over near the intercoastal to eavesdrop to see what their plans were for the next day. Unbeknownst to us, we in turn trying to get back there behind that meeting to eavesdrop. They had sentries out there, and those sentries had this road blocked. And the four of us, we drive up in there in this car, and what do they have? Four niggas in a car behind a Klan meeting. They in turn took us out of the car and took us in the midst of that meeting. We're in the middle of that meeting. The Grand Cyclops, or the head of that thing, he didn't even know anything about this. Here it is, these four blacks coming there, and they're trying to decide on what to do with us, with these four blacks. Somebody came up with the idea, said, let's hang those niggas. No, another group said, no, let's burn those niggas. Somebody else came up with the idea, no, let's shoot those niggas. And during this whole thing, you have to go realize with me being, 19 at that time, I wasn't really that afraid of the Klan. I wasn't that much of, had that much fear. But in standing there deciding what they're going to do with us, somebody came up with this brilliant idea, said, no, let's go and castrate those niggas. That's when I got afraid. I said, I got to get out of here now. I got to leave now. I'm not going to stay here for that.
Okay.
So I, in turn, broke and ran. And I only knew one way in that place was the way I was brought in. And I ran trying to get out of there. And what did I do? Run into those dang old people, that sentry. They got us messed up. I've run away from the crowd. I'm back here in these woods with these Klans people by myself. I know good and well I'm not going to survive this. But unbeknownst to us, there was someone in the crowd, an informer for the AFL-CIO, I believe he was. He identified himself. He, in turn, called the sheriff department and made a report And immediately we found this out later on, immediately after him making that formal report, because he thought this was a stage situation. But when he saw us being beat with axe handles, lug wrenches, and the blood being shed, he in turn made that formal report. The sheriff, unbeknownst to us, was there during the whole damn thing. And he came forward and said, all right, that's enough of that. And here's the weird thing about that will make your listeners laugh. You would not believe we had something like 700, 500, some people were attending that meeting. Would you believe the 4 of us were arrested and charged and convicted of assault?
Okay, now everybody, I'm gonna start asking some questions again. Y'all, when y'all didn't, were y'all at the building listening to what was going on before they found you?
No, we didn't get that close. We could go and hear them. We were trying to get closer to eavesdrop. And that's when they discovered us and took us into that meeting.
Okay, let me ask you this. What time of night is this?
Oh, that's about, it was, I'm going to say about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Is it dark?
Yes, it was.
It was dark. What kind of clothes you got on? Just some regular clothes, stuff like that,
Just regular clothes, jeans, and what else have you. We weren't dressed or anything that needs to know no special attire or anything.
Yeah.
Just everyday casual clothes.
Okay. Is everybody at the Klan's meeting in Klan hoods and stuff like that, or not necessarily?
No, everybody at the Klan meeting did not have Klan paraphernalia. You have to go and find out. The average individual that belongs to the Klan, those robes and things, they're costs, and they can't afford to buy them.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. So out of 700 people, it might only be 150 people in robes.
And if it was that many, there wasn't that many in robes.
So the guy that stands up and says, let's castrate him, he just in regular city clothes.
I don't know where it came from. I just heard that statement made, and I knew it was time for me to get out of it. But the weird thing about this, during this beating, this assault that they were perpetrating on us, I had a guy that was on me, beating on me. I weighed maybe 135 pounds. I had a guy 200 and some pounds in front of me, would ball his fist up, draw back, hit me in my face, and knock me back. He would hit me so hard, I'd fall back on the hood of this automobile. And I'd come back up. And when I'd come back up, not 6 inches from my face would be this guy with a 12-gauge shotgun in my face telling me, nigga, don't you move.
Okay. Now, when they're beating you, are they beating you inside? Is all this in a building or is it outside?
This is outside. This is outside in public view. And the thing that I was about to go and tell you was, the guy that kept hitting me in my face, after the 4th or 5th time I hear hitting me, he turned around and looked at his friend and told one of his friends, well, by God, this nigga just ain't going down. And when I went back that 4th time, I was dazed. Didn't find out about it. It was a guy behind me. When I went back, I felt myself going down. And I grabbed, got myself together, got my composure back together, pulled myself up. A guy was standing behind me, hit me in the head with a lug wrench.
So you bleeding and everything at this point?
Oh yeah.
You are really
yeah.
hurt. You don't know what's gonna happen to you.
Right. We don't know if we're going to survive. I don't know if I'm going to survive or anything of that nature. And when the sheriff came from the rear of that crowd and said, "All right, that's enough for us," he put the four of us in the back seat of a patrol car to drive us to the local hospital to get medical assistance.
And the other three guys were getting beat up too pretty bad.
Yes, they were being beaten also. The thing the one that allowed me to break to get away from there, the guy with the shotgun that I was changing about that was in my face, it was Mr. Hauser or Mr. Jenkins, one of the two. When I came back up and this guy would have this gun pointing in my face, one of those two guys went and screamed out in pain. And when he screamed out, that distracted this guy that had the shotgun on me, and he looked away momentarily, and that's the one that gave me the opportunity to break away.
Did you ever get a punch in on anybody?
Pardon me?
Did you ever get a punch in? Did you ever swing and hit that guy that was hitting you?
No, you couldn't. You couldn't strike back. You got a 12-gauge shotgun in your face, telling you don't move. You've got these people contemplating about lynching you. Don't move. You're being held captive in that crowd, and these people are talking about ending your life. No, you can't fight back.
So when they punching you, the crowd is hit him harder, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, like I said, the guy that was punching on me, he made a statement to the guy, I wasn't gonna give him the satisfaction of letting him knock me down. I was not gonna fall, and that really pissed him off.
But between the time they got you in the building, they starting to beat up on you, and you get away and go to the sheriff's car. How long a time frame is that?
Well, we were in the midst of that meeting, suffering that beating for about 30 to 45 minutes.
So now you in the sheriff's car. What does the sheriff take you to the hospital?
They took us to the hospital, and they got us at the hospital. And when we got there, the four of us got medical assistance. I forgot how many stitches in my head from being assaulted with that lug wrench. They wanted they wanted all four of us to stay in the hospital. I informed them that no, I wasn't going to stay. I said, I'm going home. I said, because my mother's there alone. And see, my father was a commercial fisherman, and he was out of town and away. And I knew my mother was at home alone, and she was going to be worried. And my concern was getting home to my mom to reassure her I was still alive and safe. And so I, in turn, left the hospital, left the other three guys there. I went home to reassure my mother that I was still alive and safe.
How did you get home?
Someone transported me home.
Did you ever lose consciousness? You know.
I never lost consciousness. No.
Okay. Well, was the other three guys beat up as bad as you, or was one hurt worse than you, or what?
Oh, you're going to find that. Oh yeah. The severity of it, it went all the way around. You find that with Haling, Dr. Haling, who was the dentist, they tried to go and injure both of his hands so that he would not be able to practice anymore. Mr. Jenkins, who was a barber, they tried to injure his hand so that he would not be able to go and practice his trade anymore. Oh, they knew who they were looking for.
So then you go home.
I got up the next morning and she asked me, where was I going? I said, over to the office. I went over to the office the next morning with my head bandaged and things. And the Klan was having a rally in downtown St. Augustine in the plaza. We had two of Dr. Haling's vehicles. One of them was a Volkswagen convertible, and the other one was his wife's car, a sedan. I had got the keys to the Volkswagen, and one of the guys would next and said, what are you doing? I said, just let me have the keys to the car. I went and got the Volkswagen, put the top down, drove downtown, and where they were having the downtown Klan rally, I drove around that thing about 4 or 5 times with that top down and these bandages on my head. And what I was doing was letting them know, you may have beaten me, but you haven't defeated me. I'm still here.
My God. So does any one of them see you and kind of run after you? Because they can get the car and go and beat you some more if they wanted to.
No, they couldn't do that. You have to go and realize the Klan is the type of organization. Everything they want to go and do, they want to go and try and hide. They want to go and do everything in seclusion or secretive.
I got you.
They're a non-violent organization. And anybody in this country knows that the Klan is a very violent organization.
And so when did this happen? What year would you say this was?
I said this was in about 1964 or 65, because like I said, I had just come out of high school, and I came out of high school at 18. So this is 64 or 65.
I got you.
The strange thing about it, I have no animosity today towards any Caucasian.
Man, if you don't get nothing out of what we're doing here, Strong Inspirations, you at least get this. I don't tell the story, I let them tell it. Unbelievable story that he just presented to us. To Mr. Jackson, we love you for giving of your life to save other Black people. We love you for that. And you survived. You got even cocky. You said, you ain't letting us, you ain't doing nothing to us. You ain't stopping me from fighting for my rights and the rights of these people in my town. We thank you for that. To my viewers here at Strong Inspirations, I want to say to you, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. If you don't like no other video on my channel, please like this one. Tell somebody about this video. All right? And hit the notifications bell, hit the tell somebody about the channel, watch my movie, read my book, please, as you so see fit. I'm coming at you straight, no chaser. I'm giving you Black history at its finest on Strong Inspirations. Thank you again for watching this. And to Brother Jackson, thank you for going on my show. You did a tremendous job. We're going to say bye-bye.